Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports episode 30 on Spreaker. I'm Taylor Phillips. Going to talk some Tigers, Lions, some Michigan and Michigan State College football, and a little bit of Detroit Red Wings on Jakub Kindl, their defenseman. Tigers taking a thumping 8-1 to the Mariners, who took 2 out of 3. Tigers are out of playoff contention again as of today. They have tomorrow off. Before heading down south to Tampa Bay to play the Rays on Tuesday. Chris McCoskey writes in a recap, told the Tigers have been described as being discombobulated in recent weeks. Outfielder Rajay Davis got a quizzical look on his face. He said he doesn't even know what that means. It means out of sorts, confused, and in disarray, which would be a fitting way to describe the team's 8-1 loss Sunday to the Mariners. Rajay Davis said, quote, "I suppose it does from the outside looking in. All I know is we're playing hard. Unfortunately, it's not working. It's not working for us. But we have a positive mindset and we're going to keep a positive attitude," unquote. The Tigers are becoming almost enigmatically inconsistent. The day after beating Cy Young Award winning Cy Young Award candidate Felix Hernandez, they looked helpless, even feeble against soft-tossing Chris Young. A day after playing solid defense behind David Price, they make 3 errors and allow 4 unearned runs. Brad Ausmus reported at the post-game press conference, quote, "It was a bad day all the way around. We didn't have good at-bats. Generally speaking, we didn't pitch well, and we didn't play good defense. That's a recipe for disaster," unquote. This was hardly an isolated incident of listless and sloppy play. Losing 2 out of 3 at home to the Mariners, the team they now chase for the second wild card spot in the American League, they have lost 7 of 10 since the All-Star break. 7 of 10 series, not games, series, since the All-Star break. They are now 1.5 games behind the Royals in the American League Central Division, the Kansas City Royals. Ausmus said that the Tigers need to play better, and they're a better team than that, period. Ausmus said he could feel the frustration level beginning to rise, especially regarding this prolonged offensive malaise. Catcher Alex Avila, who has struggled against lefties, said, quote, "Nobody likes to lose, especially on this team. We've gotten really used to winning in this organization. Losing is not something that comes easy or is something any of us enjoy. You lose and it's always frustrating, whether it's now or in April," unquote. Both Ausmus and Avila said there's only one cure: keep batting. And what they both meant by that is swinging the bats more and more frequently and more fundamentally. They've taken too many pitches, most of them for strikes. Brad Ausmus also quoted, "In baseball, you train yourself to keep working through it, knowing that you are better than what's been shown. If the numbers return to their norm, then there should be some type of offensive explosion for an extended period of time." Ausmus warned the Tigers about Chris Young 12-6 before the game, but it went unheeded. Ausmus did a little scouting report and said, quote, "Chris Young is a fly ball pitcher. They talk about spin rates, and he's got a real high spin rate on his pitches, and the ball tends to stay up. Guys tend to get under it and hit a lot of fly balls and pop-ups." Exactly what the Tigers did. Through 6 innings, Young recorded 12 fly ball outs, most of them soft and routine. Tigers started Robbie Ray, now 1-3. Another fly ball pitcher didn't fare nearly as well. He was tagged for 4 runs, 3 earned, and 7 hits in 5 innings. That's got to be terrible. Ausmus said about Robbie Ray, quote, "Robbie Ray was up in the strike zone early and he never had his breaking ball. It was just spitting out of his hand, but he's developing and we're asking him to compete in a pennant race. It's not always going to be roses when you have a young pitcher come up when you have a young pitcher come up in that situation," unquote. If the pitching was bad, the defense was worse. A two-out error by first baseman Victor Martinez and a wild pitch by Ray led to a run in the 3rd. Then things got real ugly in the 6th. Veteran reliever Jim Johnson, making his Tigers debut, was touched for 3 runs, but two were unearned after Davis dropped Kendrys Morales' 2-out fly ball. Man. Rajai Davis can hit, but he just can't field the damn ball, in my opinion. He said, quote, "I'm a major league outfielder. I have to make that catch." Well, you fielded very poorly this season, Rajai. You have to play a lot better than that in this level. The ball was hit high into the air down the left field line. Davis and shortstop Andrew Romine, backup shortstop, were both in position to catch the ball. Romine gave way to Davis at the last second, and Davis wound up juggling and then dropping it. Davis, who had stolen 3 bases at the game, was pulled after that inning. The Tigers said he had a left thumb bruise. He will be reevaluated Tuesday. Avila said, quote, "You are going to have good games and bad games. You just have to keep pounding. There's no magic formula. Just keep playing." Yeah, piss off, Alex. You're pathetic against lefties, and you know it. The Tigers said a lot of the same things during their 9-22 skid in May and June, and they did fight their way out of it. But they have gone 13-8 since the All-Star break, and all told 39-44 since the 27-12 start. There is now a larger sample size of bad baseball than good baseball from this team. Ausmus quoted one last time, "It's been bad, but this isn't a determining factor for this season. I'm actually starting to disagree with Ausmus there. We can play great baseball from here on out and do extremely well. Better get cracking, only 6 weeks left. Tigers also trail the Mariners by a half game for the second wild card spot in the American League standings. McCoskey also writes in DetroitNews.com that the Tigers hope Jim Johnson can bolster the bullpen despite his struggles in his debut. Tigers manager Brad Ausmus indicated before the game that with veteran Jim Johnson now on board and Joakim Soria with an oblique strain due back next Sunday. Oh, okay, that's good. The bullpen is set. No other reinforcements are planned. Brad Ausmus quoted, "We've had periods where we've been a little inconsistent, probably more inconsistent than normal. The truth is, though, these are the guys in our pen, and we need them to pitch well the next 6 weeks. Whatever inconsistencies we've had, we need to iron out," unquote. Johnson, who posted 101 saves for the Orioles in 2012 and 2013 before scuffling in Oakland this year, feels like he's ironed out whatever was ailing him during his 8-day, 5-inning stint in Toledo. Jim Johnson said, quote, "The last outing I threw down there felt very similar to how I've thrown the ball last year and before. The ball was coming out crisp. The first couple outings there, the first couple outings there were a little rusty, but each time out things got better and better. I feel like I am where I need to be to help this ball club," unquote. He threw the ball far better in his debut than Sunday than the results would indicate. He was touched for 3 runs and 2 outs in 2/3 of an inning, but 2 of the runs scored after Rajai Davis dropped a 2-out fly ball. Catcher Alex Avila said, quote, "He's still got really good stuff, does Johnson. His stuff hasn't left him. It's just a matter of finding some consistency and being able to work ahead of the hitters." Johnson struggles in Oakland, a 7.14 ERA and a whip of 2.058 in 38 appearances, were more of a function of command and control. His fastball was hitting 95 miles per hour regularly Sunday. With sinking movement. Johnson said, quote, "It wasn't like it was one thing or another. It was just pitching is such a timing and rhythm thing. It's just getting the consistent work and getting the rhythm back," unquote. The change of scenery helps too. Johnson said, "Yes, I think so. I mean, that's a common thing people like to say, but the way things went the first part of the season, this is going to be more fun." Role in flux. Ausmus said Johnson's role has yet to be determined, but for now, he expects to use him in the 6th and 7th innings. Jabba Chamberlain will remain the 8th inning setup man, and Joe Nathan remains the closer. Ausmus said, quote, Jim has pitched in high-pressure situations before, and that experience helps. With Soria, we have 4 pitchers who have pitched in the back of the bullpen, unquote. In fact, there are 674 Major League saves between Chamberlain, Johnson, Soria, and Nathan. Johnson said, it doesn't matter. I am here to help any way I can. Now some Lions football. Quick article regarding an injury update on Calvin Johnson. He will finally make up his preseason debut, play his first preseason game this year against the Jacksonville Jaguars this Friday at 7:30 on Fox, or at 7:30 on WXYZ, Channel 7 in Detroit, and on Fox 32 in Cadillac. Detroit Lions receiver Calvin Johnson has missed the team's first 2 preseason games while working his way back from off-season surgeries, but he is just about ready to get back on the field. Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press writes that Johnson expects to play in this Friday's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Megatron quoted, I'll get some burn this game. I'll get some plays in this game. I'll feel good about it then, unquote. How much work he gets this week remains to be seen, but the league's most dominant receiver returning to the field is good news for the Lions offense regardless, as he appears on track for week 1 of the regular season, when the Lions host the New York Giants on September 10th on ESPN Monday Night Football. Speaking of football, let's move on to college football. Nick Baumgartner writes on MLive.com, Michigan State opens the poll at number 8, and Michigan to begin their season unranked. And Michigan deserves to be unranked. No offense. The Michigan State football team ended the Bowl Championship Series era ranked among the country's elite, and they'll start the college football playoff age in similar fashion. MSU came in at number 8 on Sunday in the Associated Press's first official college football poll of the 2014 season. The Spartans were one of 4 big teams ranked in the poll, behind only number 5 Ohio State. MSU received 1,080 overall points after finishing the 2013 season at 13-1 with Big Ten and Rose Bowl championships. It's Michigan State's highest preseason ranking since 1967, when the Spartans were number 3. Michigan, meanwhile, will begin the 2014 season unranked in the AP poll. The Wolverines received 19 top 25 votes. Florida State came in at number 1 with 57 first-place votes, followed by Alabama with 1, Oregon with 1, and Oklahoma with 1. Auburn's ranked 6th, UCLA 7th, South Carolina 9th, Baylor 10th, Stanford 11th, Georgia 12th, LSU 13th, Wisconsin 14th, USC, Southern Cal 15th, Clemson 16th, Notre Dame 17th, Ole Miss 18th, Arizona State 19th, Kansas State 20th, Texas A&M 21st, Nebraska 22nd, North Carolina number 23, Missouri number 24, and Washington, the Huskies, 25. Nick Baumgartner voted Michigan State to be 7th in the poll, in the preseason poll. I still think the Spartans finally have what it takes to win a national title. As for Michigan, they apparently won't make it to the postseason. One last thing before I hit the hay. Some Red Wings news on some Red Wings Outlook info on Jakub Kindl. Ansar Khan writes on MLive.com, all of last season's stats, all the career stats. I'll post this article on Facebook and Twitter. Last season, he scored 2 goals, got 17 assists in 66 games, a -4 rating with 19 points, 24 penalty minutes, 4 games, no goals, no points, -2 ranking, and 2 penalty minutes in the Stanley Cup playoffs. $3 years remaining at a salary cap hit of $2.4 million. Last year, Kindl logged 2 minutes and 2 seconds per game on the power play. His average ice time is 17 minutes, 14 seconds, decreased from 2013, 18 and 33. And he missed 6 games with a sprained MCL from February 6 to March 6 because of the Olympic break. He was a healthy scratch for a total of 10 games on 3 separate occasions. As far as the sprained MCL goes, that's not a healthy scratch. 2014-2015 outlook. After seemingly establishing himself as a key member of the defense for years to come in 2013, Kindl took a big step back in 2013-2014. He seemed to lose confidence and wasn't as competitive as the year before. He is capable of playing with a physical edge, but one of the knocks against him is reluctance to take a hit to make a play. Despite being a healthy scratch in Game 5 of the playoffs against Boston, he was replaced by rookie Xavier Ouellet. Kindl should be able to beat out Brian Lashoff for the 6th spot on defense, but his chances with the organization are dwindling. If the Red Wings are able to acquire the right-handed shooting power play quarterback they've been seeking, Kindl would be the one most likely to be dealt. The key question: do you think Kindl still Do you think Kindl still has some upside, or is he destined to be traded? That's a good question. ...2013 was his best year thus far. I'll give him until the 2015 season to play it out. Then we'll see what we think of him. But I think Kindl should be traded. It's not still young, but just not good enough anyway. That's a wrap for episode 30 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. Tigers have off tomorrow, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, on Monday. Then on Tuesday, they start a 3-game series against Tampa Bay. Then they head back up north to Minnesota for a 4-game series, including a Saturday doubleheader against the Twins. You catch all Tigers games on Fox Sports Detroit, most of them on Fox Sports Detroit, and all of them on the radio on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, WXYT FM and WXYT HD1. Lions play at 7:30 on Friday at home against the Jaguars on 97.1 The Ticket and WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit. TTFN, ta-ta for now. I'm Taylor Phillips.